And Elon Musk posted yesterday that the bill is, quote, political suicide for the Republican Party. Do you think this legislation could cost Republicans in the midterms, Senator?
How do Americans feel about the big, beautiful bill?
Yeah, if we're talking about adjectives, how about they think it's awful, they think it's horrible, and to quote our colleague Charles Barkley, terrible, terrible, terrible.
Elon Musk is desperately continuing his public campaign against Donald Trump's disastrous one big beautiful bill, even as that bill inches closer and closer to passage in the Senate. And both Trump and a prominent Republican senator addressed Elon Musk in high-profile interviews. Trump, specifically the recent Fox News interview with Maria Bartiromo. But despite Trump and the GOP's best attempts to downplay the disaster that is this bill and the political consequences, polling is consistently showing that this could indeed be, quote, political suicide for the Republican Party, according to Elon Musk. But before we unpack all that, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. All right, friends, we have a few clips to look at and a lot of posts from Elon Musk. I'm going to start with this one because this is really the big one. Polls show that this bill is political suicide for the Republican Party, and it's just simply the case. We'll get to the polling in just a second, but nowhere, from no source, is the one big beautiful bill benefiting in terms of polling. Right-wing polls, center polls, more liberal polls all show that a majority of Americans, especially those who know about this bill, do not like it. So Musk seems to be onto something here, but I want to show you some other posts from Elon Musk to really emphasize how desperate he is to try to change the GOP's mind on this. This would be incredibly destructive to America, he says, referring to what this bill will do to clean energy capacity and the ability to compete with China in the future. Elon Musk retweeted this: "The United States is about to walk off the field, ceding a major economic lever for the 21st century to China. Thank you for your attention to this matter." Of course, that's a sarcastic reference to how Trump ends most of his posts these days. Musk also tweeted this. He says, "Yes, a massive strategic error is being made right now to damage solar/battery that will leave America extremely vulnerable in the future." He also retweeted this: "Union chief torches GOP's beautiful bill as a worker betrayal. The NABTU president, Sean McGarvey, says the bill is a massive insult to over 3 million construction workers. Quote, our 3 million worker members are ready, willing, and able to build this country into the world's undisputed energy superpower, but this bill taxes their jobs away and undermines that mission. Critical infrastructure projects essential to that future are being sacrificed at the altar of ideology. We are especially outraged because of all this. All of the job losses for hardworking Americans is being done for one reason only: to make room for more tax breaks for the wealthiest corporations and wealthiest individuals in America." Musk retweeted that. So, with all that in mind, that's, again, Elon Musk's consistent, aggressive public campaign to try to change and pressure elected Republicans to not go through with this. But that bill is inching closer and closer to success in the Senate. Now, in response to all this and really the fallout between himself and Elon, Trump was asked about this by MAGA Fox News host Maria Bartiromo.
This was a massive decision.
Mr. President, have you spoken to Elon Musk? What happened there?
I think he's a wonderful guy. I haven't spoken to him much, but I think Elon is a wonderful guy, and I know he's going to do well always. He's a smart guy, and he actually went and campaigned with me, and this and that. But he got a little bit upset, and that wasn't appropriate.
Why did he get upset? He just wasn't getting what he wanted.
I want to stop right there. Note how Trump, and again, I think Trump overall is an idiot, but he has flashes of cunning. He really does, especially when it comes to presentation. So note what he did there. He reminded everybody that Elon Musk campaigned with Trump, and that is true, because even as Musk is doing this public campaign against Trump's one big beautiful bill, Musk is being reminded rightly by people saying, you paid for this, buddy. You shelled out nearly $300 million that we are aware of to get this asshole elected. This is your fault in part. Musk is being hoisted by his own petard. And I think it's important that, I think it's perfectly fair for Trump to remind everybody that, like, hey, listen, it's not like Musk opposed Trump or campaigned against Trump and Trump prevailed regardless. Musk was key. He was essential to putting Trump in a position for Trump to do the very thing that Elon Musk is freaking out about now. The irony could not be thicker.
He Look, the electric vehicle mandate, the EV mandate is a tough thing for him, I would think. You know, I don't want everybody to have an electric car. You know, I campaigned on, you have choice. If you want a gasoline powered, if you want a hybrid, if you want I love the electric. I love his cars. I think he's fantastic. But not everybody should have that. And not everybody wants that. And Biden, who's so stupid, he said everybody has to have an electric car by what, 2030? Okay? I think he said by 2030, which is in 5 years, people don't want that. And how do you do that when you don't have enough electricity?
So Trump continues to say that it's really the rescission of the electric vehicle mandate, which again is something that Trump campaigned on. So to the extent that he's right, if that is what's pissing Elon Musk off, Elon Musk effectively bought and paid for that, right? Again, this is why I mean it's definitely a Dracula versus Wolfman situation. I agree with Musk in this particular situation that the big beautiful bill is terrible, right? But I'm not going to pretend that Musk did not aggressively work to create the very circumstance which is now not only going to hurt all sorts of Americans, but Musk's vision for the future and potentially Musk's companies as well. That should be noted. Now, what's interesting is Trump took a relatively more diplomatic route in that Fox News interview. Again, kind of that jab there about, hey, Musk campaigned with me. It's kind of humiliating for him to throw that out there. But otherwise, his tenor and his rhetoric is surprisingly chill. Trump usually doesn't speak about other people that way, especially those who have said the unhinged shit about him that Musk did, which was wildly entertaining. Other Republican lawmakers, though, like Mark Wayne Mullen, for example, he's getting pretty defensive on behalf of Trump and the one big beautiful bill and taking shots at Elon, which contradict things that Mark Wayne Mullen himself said about Elon just a few months ago.
Senator, I hear what you're saying. The CBO actually says that middle-income households would only see an overall increase between $500 to $1,000, not that full $10,000 you cited. Let me delve into some of the broader opposition, though, that we're seeing. In the most recent polling in the bill, 59% of voters say they oppose it. And Elon Musk posted yesterday that the bill is, quote, political suicide for the Republican Party. Do you think this legislation could cost Republicans in the midterms, Senator?
No, well, let's unpack some of the stuff you said. What the CBO was talking about was actual bring home pay. When you start talking about the child deduction or the child deduction that we actually doubled, when you start talking about the taxes that they are going to see the increase, plus you start looking at the increase in wage bring home, that's where we get the 10,000. CBO, what you're talking about specifically is just the extension of the tax cuts. So there's a lot of other factors at play in there. As far as Elon Musk goes, listen, I respect Elon. I think he's right for his opinion, but he just doesn't know. And so I have to disregard that. What we're doing is delivering for the American people, and they know that. So if you look at any polling in the red states, especially where President Trump won, which he won the red states overwhelmingly, President Trump is popular, and the bill is extremely popular. Other polls can be, as you know, can be decided by what demographic you want to poll. And I imagine if they were to go poll blue states, well, the bill probably wouldn't be popular there.
Senator, I hear what you're saying about Elon Musk. Back in February on this program, you called Elon Musk, quote, the best entrepreneur we've ever had in our lifetime.
And I mean that.
Okay, so why would you dismiss his perspective, Senator?
Well, I used to be in business full time. Is what I did. I was never in politics. I thought I understood politics until I got in it. When I got into it, I realized, whoa. First thing I had to do is learn how to take a big, deep breath and realize I have to accept other people's opinion. That's what negotiating is.
Yeah, but Musk isn't talking about, well, Musk, number one, when he weighs in on the politics, he's referring to the polls. And despite what Mark Wayne Mullen has to say, as we'll discuss in just a minute, the polls are not good for the one big, beautiful bill, no matter how you like to parse it, number one. And number two, it is interesting that you trusted Elon Musk's political instincts and political acumen when he was closely aligned with Trump, and then you wanted to hype him up. But then when they have a parting of the ways, then whatever genius or entrepreneurial vision, and this bill certainly has massive implications for industry, you dismiss it out of hand. So Kristen Welker was right to, call him out for that very obvious contradiction that he's desperate to try to paper over. But again, this is where we are. No consistency whatsoever. Elon has been discarded by the vast majority, certainly of elected Republicans, because At the end of the day, he conflicted with Trump, and loyalty to Trump trumps everything, pun intended. So let's get into the brutal polling on this.
Data analyst Harry Enton here to run the numbers. All right, Harry, how do Americans feel about the big, beautiful bill?
Yeah, if we're talking about adjectives, how about they think it's awful, they think it's horrible, and to quote our colleague Charles Barkley, terrible, terrible, terrible. What are we talking about here? Well, let's take a look at the net favorable rating on the big, beautiful bill. I don't just got one poll for you, Omar. I got 5 of them, and the net favorable rating, minus 19 points, Washington Post, minus 20 points, Pew Research Center, Fox, minus 21, Quinnipiac University, minus 26, KFF, minus 29. You don't have to be a mathematical genius to know that when the net favorable rating of your bill is somewhere between minus 19 and minus 29 points, that it is not a positive bill as viewed by the American public. The American public at this particular point hate the big, beautiful bill. As far as they're concerned, it's not a big, beautiful bill. It's a big, bad bill.
I always appreciate when you hold back, Harry.
I know,
look,
I try.
As people have learned more about the bill, I mean, obviously we're still in these stages working out individual pieces, and we'll see where this ends up. But as people have learned about it, has that popularity changed at all once they get more details?
No, Omar. You know, we have Quinnipiac University. They hated it in early June when the net favorable rating was minus 26 points. And look at where we are in late June. It's the same, minus 26 points. The more they learn about this bill, they hate it just as much. I've been going through the historical books and trying to find a piece of legislation that looks more likely than not to pass, and seeing if there is one as unpopular as the big, beautiful bill. And the bottom line is, Omar, I can't find one. This one is in the history books, and for all of the wrong reasons as far as the American public is concerned.
So why is this bill so unpopular?
Why is this bill so unpopular? Well, I think Republicans would argue that this bill is supposed to help out the American people and their family. But the American people disagree with that idea. All right, Trump's policies and your family, help or hurt? The big, beautiful bill, just 23% say help. How about 49%? 49% say hurt. Look, that's a 26-point difference in the direction of hurt. Compare that to Trump's first-term agenda, where the plurality said it helped their family at 44% compared to 31% who said hurt. So the American people elected Trump to help them and their families, but they see the big, beautiful bill as one that, on the whole, hurts their families.
All right. Helpful perspective as we work through the individual details.
Yeah, there you go, folks. I mean, the polling on this is just consistently atrocious no matter where you turn to. Mark Wayne Mullen is just high on copium in that respect. And listen, is it possible that the Trump Republican Party will subvert disaster? It's possible. Again, he can warp political gravity unlike any other person we've ever seen in politics. There's no question about that. That the polls, while as accurate as they can possibly be, do not necessarily implicate results, right? Because look at Trump's polls at the end of his first term. Look at the polls around January 6th, and yet he's president of the United States again. This man can bamboozle people. It really is stunning and disturbing. But the fact of the matter is the empirical data show that Trump's one big, beautiful bill is wildly unpopular. And if conventional reason, conventional logic, conventional, action and reaction, cause and effect, actions and consequences hold true, then Elon Musk is correct. Certainly there's data to support what Elon Musk says when he calls this political suicide. And yet the Republican Party is running full steam ahead anyway, despite his desperate public campaign. We'll see what happens. But of course, in the meantime, let me know what you think in the comments.